I'm freaking addicted to Pokemon battling. It's a real problem and I need help. I can't quit whenever I want. Someone stop me. Let me just say this from the very beginning. I truly think that Pokemon Champions is going to be the long-term engine for VGC for the foreseeable future. And I'm not saying that as like doom posting or hype farming. I mean, I truly care about the competitive Pokemon scene, especially doubles. And if you care about it too, this might be the biggest shift that we've seen in a long time. For context, my name is Snooze. I am a regional champion. I play the game a ton and I spend way too much time on Pokemon Showdown because it's the fastest way to play the game. And that's the entire point of Champions. So we've heard it a million times. Let's just go over it again real quick of what we know. Pokemon Champions is a battle-focused game on types, abilities, EVs, IVs, all that good stuff, specifically for battling. It's cross-platform, Switch and mobile, and you can play ranked and casual battles online. And probably one of the biggest things is it's going to be the official platform for Worlds and for future tournaments as soon as we know a release date. But here's the big thing that Champions solves. The breeding and the hatching and the EVs and the IVs and the bottle caps and the grinding and the hunting, it just gets rid of it all, which is going to be so good to not have to do that anymore because it sucked. Champions is basically going to be similar to Pokemon Showdown as far as we know, that you can just build your Pokemon in-game. You can do a rent a Pokemon, hire a Pokemon, I don't know what they call it, and then you can just battle online and you don't have to worry about anything else. We know that we use something called victory points that you get for playing the game to train and recruit Pokemon for your team. And very, very importantly, we also know that VP cannot be directly purchased. That's actually huge and solves a ton of my initial worries that I had about Pokemon Champions. I've seen quite a few people get worried about the microtransactions that will be present on Pokemon Champions because it will be a mobile game and it's developed by Ilka. It's safe to say there will be microtransactions. I don't see a world where there's not, but I don't think it's going to be what the worst case scenario that everyone is talking about. Officially, the site calls Champions free to start and says there will be optional in-game items and a starter pack bundle later. So to me, this says that the most likely path for Pokemon Champions is microtransactions are probably just going to be cosmetics, time saver items, or convenience items, maybe some bundles, and possibly some kind of monthly subscription, very similar to Pokemon Pocket, where you have a subscription, you get extra perks, a free extra pack, and you can get your points to open packs quicker, easier. I think that'll be it. And that, it doesn't matter. I had never used the subscription on Pokemon Pocket, and I get to open up packs just as much as the next guy, I feel like. The big thing for me is that VP just cannot be directly bought. That's big, because that means that regardless of the bundle or any of the perks that you have, you still have to play the game like everybody else. And if I play Pokemon Champions even half as much as I've played Pokemon Showdown, I'll have more VP than I even know what to do with. I'll be able to train and recruit whatever Pokemon I want at the drop of a hat because I'm freaking addicted to Pokemon battling. It's a real problem and I need help. I can't quit whenever I want. Someone stop me, please. But here's the other big thing that I think is happening. I think Pokemon is starting to split their player base between casual and competitive. And I think this is okay. Let me break it down. Champions becomes the home for competitive Pokemon. It's home base, consistent battling, consistent rules, a place to reuse older mechanics. Mainline games can now focus on what the casual players actually care about. Exploring the map, great stories, compelling characters, and just the vibes of chilling out in a Pokemon game, playing with the cuties, you know what I mean? And I'm honestly okay with that. I really am. I almost would prefer that they do that so that they can focus on making the mainline games better for the average consumer. The VGC tournament scene takes up, I would be surprised if it even took up 1% of the people that buy and play Pokemon games. We are such a small fraction that we are literally like the side thought, and I'm just happy they gave us Champions because it's like, wow, we're not just going to disappear, hopefully at least. They've given us a consistent place to go, which I was expecting less than that. This is above and beyond what I was thinking they were going to do for us. And I have seen some in other videos come up with concerns that if Pokemon isn't attached, like the competitive scene isn't attached to the mainline games, does it get harder for casuals to know about VGC and to get into it? And maybe, but I think the accessibility of Pokemon Champions wins out by far in the long run. Champions is 10 times more accessible than VGC has ever been. You don't need a Switch, you can do it on your phone. You don't need to grind 50 hours just beating the game and then another 100 hours or more to get all the resources, money, and items to make one team. And you can battle whenever you want. To me, that's how competitive scenes grow. To me, that's how we take VGC from here to here much quicker with this accessibility. A standalone platform creates faster regulation updates, possibly balance patches. Oh my gosh, please, can we get some balance patches in here? I'm looking at you, Urshifu, Fluttermane, and revisiting old mechanics like Mega Evolution or Z moves. We already know that Megas will be part of the first regulation when Champions releases, and the site explicitly says that other features are going to be added in the future. So now let's talk about Pokemon Home connectivity. That part is real, and I can see a concern with home support in Champions. Now you can bring any Pokemon that will be in Champions from other games, even Pokemon Go through Home. But what we do know is that you cannot bring Pokemon from Champions into other games. Now, whether that just means Pokemon you've recruited explicitly through Champions or any Pokemon that you have transferred to Champions at all, we don't quite know yet. My guess is the second. Any Pokemon that you transfer to Champions is probably going to be living there for the foreseeable future. So if you're thinking, I'll move my shiny Pokemon that I love in and out, maybe hold off on that until we do some testing and see what exactly that means. But for me personally, if I am moving a Pokemon from a game to Champions, it was probably going to live there for the remainder of its life anyways. Any Pokemon that I do any transferring with, it's usually for competitive means. And whenever I play a new game, I always catch new Pokemon instead of just transferring old ones over from other games. I know I'm probably the minority in that, but for me personally and players like me, being able to transfer between Champions and other games is not a big deal because most of the time our Pokemon are just going to live on there anyway. Sorry, I have a cold. Now here is my one concern about Champions right now, is we saw footage of a Mega Charizard and a Terrastalized Dondozo in the trailer. This isn't the first time that we've had dual mechanics. We've had Z moves and Megas in the past, but what I'm worried about is like this gimmick stacking that we're gonna be doing. I actually really do love Megas and Z moves. They had built-in limitations and restraints, items, commitments, and very, clear trade-offs. But mechanics like Terrastalization and Dynamax, in my opinion, have very much skewed the game from a board state positioning perspective for me, because it seems like it just overrides positioning with how flexible they are, that you can have your opponent locked in, dead to rights, you led better, you position better, your end game is in line, but all of a sudden they can double their HP or change their type, and now they've flipped the script when they were, by all accounts, outplayed up to that point. Now I know that's just the nature of these mechanics, and that's why some people love them, because they can just flip a game. But I personally love to see positioning, foresight, and the ability to set up your board to win against your opponent's Pokemon a lot more than seeing somebody in a lose position get out of jail free by clicking the big button. So my worry is, in a world where we are going to be combining mechanics, that Dynamax and Terrastalization will override these other mechanics, and that we'll just see a big Pokemon or a fancy hat 99% of the time, depending on how these combined mechanics are going to be used. I'm I'm still optimistic, but that's the balancing line that I'm watching for. Like, how are they gonna use these mechanics? Because I very much dislike terrestrialization and Dynamax. This next part is gonna be total speculation about the future of the games in Pokemon Champions. I think from Gen 10 onward, they're going to be using more of the Legends EA, Legends Arceus battle mechanics. It's gonna be a direction of real-time decision-making battling, which was widely accepted very well by the average player base. I personally felt like it was hollow, that there wasn't very much to it, with no abilities and very few secondary effects that came with moves, but the average player base loved it, and I don't see them stepping away from that anytime soon. And by giving us champions, I think they make it clear that that is also their intention going forward, that the next games are going to continue to be real-time battling, and the competitive sector of things are going to live on Pokemon Champions, and that's how they're keeping us alive. Again, that's not confirmed. That's just Snooze using his noggin. Maybe wondering that sounds like it could be true to me. So what should we be looking for next? Pokemon Day is coming up on the 27th. It's February 2026, everybody. 30th anniversary. I think we're all expecting something big. Me, with Champions, I'm personally looking forward to a release date. Please let us know when this is actually coming out so we can know when to expect it. Are we gonna be looking at a release right before a tournament, or are we gonna have time to grind a little bit? Get some in-game resources. How many Pokemon are gonna be available at launch? They did say that not every Pokemon would be available. I think about this much like when a new game is released and it's regional decks. Only the Pokemon available in that region are used for that format. I'm expecting it to be very similar to that, so we won't have everything, but I am curious about what Pokemon will be included. How strict are the rules gonna be for gimmicks? One per battle, one per team? Are we gonna do just one at a time and then combine later on? That's stuff we'll find out in the future. The VP economy, how grindy is it gonna really be to grind victory points to recruit Pokemon? Is it gonna be a hassle? Do we not get very much? Do you get more for winning opposed to losing? That's some information I'd like to see. Rental teams, I think rental teams could be big. Are we gonna be able to have rental codes of popular teams that others can just use in game so they don't have to use resources to build their own teams? I'd really like to know if rental teams are a possibility. And then tournament rule clarity. What is gonna be the tournament rules? Are we gonna keep doing this thing where we do regulations every few months? I'm not a huge fan of them. I miss when a tournament rule would just span the entire year. It really let the format breathe. You really got to get in deep on those formats, and these quick turnovers, they're not for me. I don't like them. So yeah, people can doomsay all they want. Everyone has a right to be worried. I know we all haven't had the best experience with Pokemon or Game Freak. Personally, I've loved what they've been doing with the series. I loved Scarlet and Violet despite its performance issues. I don't expect the games to perform as good as others, if I'm being completely honest. It's kind of the charm of Pokemon to me, is that it's very just what it is. But Gen 10 I think will be fun to play. Champions existing is not gonna stop me from playing Gen 10. And if the story's great, I'm gonna 100% it, just like I have every other Pokemon game. And if I find shinies, I'll keep the ones I care about wherever I want them. If I want them in Champions, or if I just wanna keep them in home or in my game. Champions won't affect my ability to enjoy the new games because VGC has never affected my ability to enjoy the new games. I take my time, I make myself look fly AF in the games by getting all the cool clothes. I'm drippy, I grind resources, I catch the Pokemon I want, I even shiny hunt just for fun. VGC's never had an impact on that. I don't see Champions changing that. And in my opinion, Champions will be the best thing to ever happen to VGC, period. If you're excited about Champions, make sure to subscribe, because once we get more info, we'll go over it, we'll break it down, what it means for the meta, competitive accessibility, and what it could mean for the future. I'm truly excited for Champions. Doing Champions content is gonna be so much fun to do on this channel, and I hope that I see you guys in the next videos. My name is Snooze VGC. I'll see you later. Let it ride!